the 7th chapter. Jesus is concluding his great Sermon on the Mount. Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, shall enter the kingdom of heaven, but he who does the will of my Father who is in heaven. Everyone then who hears these words of mine and does them will be like a wise man who built his house upon the rock. And the rain fell, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon that house, but it did not fall, because it had been founded on the rock. And everyone who hears these words of mine and does not do them will be like a foolish man who built his house upon the sand. The rain fell, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat against that house, and it fell. And great was the fall. And when Jesus finished these sayings, the crowds were astonished at his teaching, for he taught them as one who had authority, and not as their scribes. Let us pray. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of our hearts be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, our strength and our redeemer. I am Mark Bailey, Associate Pastor of Church of the Loving Shepherd in Westtown. I have been a neighbor of the Lowndes, as our church has been for many years. And Donna and I have been buddies since she was in junior high school. Now, it is an example of Donna's grace that this many years later she would have asked her principal to be the officiant in her marriage. We have words for teacher's pet. I don't know what we say on behalf of students. I have also been able to get to know Paul this year, and it is a great honor for me to be among all of you and officiate on this high festival day with Don and Paul. Now, some of you know that my favorite joke is about a matron who passed on the sidewalk a young mother who was pushing her baby in baby carriage. And the older matron leaned over, looked at the carriage, and said, "Oh my, what a beautiful baby." The young mother looked at her and said, "This is nothing. Wait till you see the pictures." On high, happy days like this, we all love to take pictures. But I think sometimes in our modern life we get pictures confused with the real thing. As Donna and Paul are exchanging their vows, will you please forget about the cameras and stand with them and share all the love you can. Just love them up. And we'll have plenty of time to take photos. When Paul and Donna declared in front of all of us that they were in fact going to be married, they promised, among other things, to comfort one another. And I wish to spend a few moments reminding all of us again, I do it frequently, what the word comfort means. For most of us, when we hear the word comfort, I imagine we think of the Sealy Posturepedic commercials. Or perhaps this time of year, all you think about when you hear the word comfort is a big iced tea and a hammock. In fact, when the fathers, hundreds of years ago, wrote this word into our wedding service, they did not have the modern sense of comfort in mind at all. Those men were scholars of Latin, and they knew very well when they wrote in the word comfort that they were speaking of its ancient Latin sense, cum forte, with strength. The musicians here note the phrase often in music, And if they see it in music, they know that the music is to be performed with volume. So comfort then does not mean it's, at least in its original meaning, didn't have the sense of the Sealy Posturepedic or the ice tea in the hammock, but rather it meant strength, loudness. I think the best example of comfort I can remember was told me by a seminary professor. He had visited a museum, I believe, in Europe, and he had seen one of those magnificent tapestries, perhaps woven by the Gobelin factories, which has been weaving tapestries for hundreds of years. And this tapestry had been woven to celebrate a great battle. It showed this famous commander and his troops. And underneath the tapestry, in large print, were the early English words, "Commander so-and-so comforteth his troops." Now, in fact, if you look at the tapestry, you would notice that the commander had one of those 15-foot pikes with a sharp end. He was, in fact, behind his troops, poking them in the rear. That is precisely the sense of comfort the fathers had in mind when they wrote it into the ceremony. Now, I believe that there is an evil force among us in our culture today. I would even go so far as to call it demonic, because it is so divisive, so disruptive of normal human life. And that force, I would call it, is a drive toward perfectionism. And I am most amused by this because in the United States, where most of us are pretty proud that we don't take our religion terribly seriously. Oh, we might make it to church a few Sundays a month, but, you know, we sort of shucked off all that old Puritan notion of God. And I find it amusing that in America, where we proudly liberated ourselves from a God Almighty, we still maintain a rather idolatrous preoccupation with being perfect. We're worse than the Puritans ever were. And so it fills through every level of our culture. The coffee commercials talk about a perfect blend. The exercise machines and the health clubs and the diet plans talk about, are you ready for this? The body perfect. And we've almost personified perfection as though it's something quite removed from our behavior, and we say, it was perfection itself. Did you ever meet her wandering down the street, perfection herself? And this drive, this force toward perfection, I have dared even label demonic because it motivates us in a negative sense. It tears down our human relationships. We get so preoccupied with being perfect. Why? I heard a speaker this week on public radio television. Did you hear him? He said it's an American thing for a teenager to ridicule his parents. It's un-American not to. Look at Dad. Look at Mom. Far from perfect. And husbands ridicule wives, and wives ridicule husbands. How do I know? Well, look at our divorce certificate rate. Look at the way we're divorcing in this country. And you folks here in the office or the school or wherever you find yourselves every day, oh, you know Susie. Yeah, she's a nice girl, but. And we do it in our meals. You know, I bet you folks, a lot of you fix wonderful meals. And I bet when you're all finish fixing the meal, all you worry about is the sauce you remove. You forget about the whole meal. I'll bet that even in the last hour and a half, you And you guys, how many of you came downstairs and your sweetheart looked at you and said, "Where'd you get that top?" Or, "You're not going to wear that, are you?" And this force driving us to perfectionism leaves us feeling somehow empty and desperate, and it becomes a demonic force breaking apart our very society. Now, some of you here know Scripture. I know you do. And you're probably sitting there saying, "Mark has forgotten all about Jesus' command, 'Be ye perfect as your heavenly Father is perfect.'" No, I have not. Jesus said that in Matthew's Gospel, and thank God Luke wrote his Gospel, and we're quite clear that Jesus meant, "Be perfect in mercy." Be perfect in forgiveness. Mother Teresa was asked one day about her work, and the person interviewing her said, "Mother Teresa, how do you stand it? You lose all the people you work for. You're constantly in poverty. You never see an end to this endless flow of street people who are dying of disease. How do you stand doing this work?" You know what Mother Teresa said? She said, "God does not call us to be successful. He calls us to be faithful." There is not a single word in the marriage ceremony which calls the bride and groom to perfection. As a matter of fact, it's quite clear the way the fathers wrote the service that there'll be anything but. Paul and Donna today will pledge themselves in sickness as well as health, in poverty as well as wealth. God in our marriage, in our human relationships, never calls us to success, to perfection. But God does call us to faithfulness. Paul and Donna, on your wedding day, I charge you both to comfort one another. Of course, comfort one another in the modern sense. You need all the hugs and soft mattresses and big iced teas and hammocks you can get. There are many enemies to a loving couple in our world. Take care of one another kindly. But I charge you this day to comfort one another in the ancient sense. When one is feeling weak, be the strength. Loudly speak your strengths and your good points. Loudly express your gratefulness for one another. And yes, indeed, in some times and some moments, the best comfort you can give is a good, sharp poke in the rear.